Is that the old one?
Yeah.
No one's in this. No one's in this live right now, so we're just waiting for. Sorry about that. Guess technical difficulties, and we got kicked off the internet. So this is the part 2 of what we just recorded live. Sorry, terribly sorry. Hate that stuff happens. If you're watching this, thank you for coming back. I really, really appreciate that. Is anyone who's back in? So sorry. So sorry that happened. I'm going to wait a couple minutes and then I'm going to get right back into where we were. I just want, if anyone jumped off, they can jump back on and we can get back into it. So I guess there are always going to be internet problems in the world. That's just something we can't avoid. Should I just go into what I was talking about, or
Yeah.
should I wait?
Wait, like until there is less free will.
Okay. And if they never come?
They will.
If you go live, they will come. So just to recap, if you're maybe just tuning into the second video, I was talking about someone's comment from before about actions we can be taking each day to help connect with our alpha energy. And I was talking about, hey, how's it going? Where are you watching from? Jiwa. So I was talking about masculinity and how masculinity comes from alpha energy, and masculinity, I think, are one and the same. So positive masculinity, I believe they're one and the same. And we were talking about how to grow them, how to connect with them. And one of the things I was talking about, Indonesia, nice. So one of the things I was saying was tapping into masculinity through austerity. So going without, having a minimal life, minimizing distractions, stuff like that. And the other thing we were talking about was challenge. And challenge could be in the form of physical things, or the deeper thing that David Data talks about in that book that I was reading from is the challenge of giving your gift. So I'd asked if you guys had connected with your gifts, if you have a strong purpose in life, because I think if you, for the reader or for the watcher that wanted to ask this question, if he's not connected to his purpose, then it may be very hard to connect with the alpha energy, the masculinity, that sort of swagger of someone who's on his purpose. And beyond that, I think the best way to connect is with action and with visualization. So once you take care of those challenges and those minimizing distractions, I think the best way is to supplement that with visualization exercises. And I think that those visualization exercises help you stay disciplined as well. So it's a lot harder to imagine yourself. Nice. Very cool. Used our affirmations. So it's harder to visualize how your day could be full of challenge and purpose and things like that if you're not spending time doing exercises that help you visualize those. So I think once you take care of the action and stuff like that, there's always exercises you can do. I don't want it to seem like I'm saying the only way you can build is through living the monk life or challenging yourself all the time. There's definitely meditations and stuff like that, and that's something we try to do. Maybe we'll think about doing one about masculinity, because it's an important topic right now. So I'll just get right into the next topic that someone requested, and that was basically healing your energy, preserving your energy, recovering your energy levels. So I had a coaching client who was talking about how he felt tired all the time right now. And I think that right now everyone's tired. Like, it's such an exhausting time right now, and everybody's energy is really low, and people are just vibrating very low. Everybody's in sort of a fear state. So I think one of the best ways, and this is something that Elliot Holst told me, because about 6 years ago, I sent him a question, and this was back when he was a lot smaller and you could actually reach him with questions and stuff like that. I think you still can if you send him a DM or whatever, but I asked him basically, how do I protect myself from toxic people? And he made a whole video about it, and it was fucking awesome. And I'm so glad he made that video, because what he said was so powerful. I said, am I going to have to do this forever? Like, once I've made this shift in my life, and now I want to protect myself from unhealthy people. I want to keep my energy. I want to preserve my energy. Is there a time I will reach where I'm just cured? Like, will I be fortified? Will I be resilient? And he was like, no, you're always going to have to practice. You're always going to have to take time for your self-care. And when he said that, I was like, damn, that's true. Like, if you want to stay protected from toxic people, you might not always be protected. So you might have to isolate yourself from those people. And I think one of the most important things you can do is find out what or who is draining that energy right now, and remove it or that person from your life, because there's no use in making it harder on yourself and like trying to exist with something or someone in your life that's draining you, hurting you. Once you remove that, sometimes it's like a miracle. You can just instantly feel better once that thing or that person or that client or that job or that relationship or that habit or something is removed from your life. Then it's instant healing. And I think the other way you can do that is through self-care, like having a good self-care routine, having a good toolbox you tap into, where everybody's got to build their own toolbox. And that toolbox has to be filled with things that they do to fall back on in order to heal them. So my toolbox consists of a bunch of hypnosis, a bunch of affirmations, some of which I created. I don't put the affirmations that I personally use on the channel because I don't want to. It's very catered to my goals, and I think affirmations are awesome. But the best affirmation you can have is the set of affirmations that are specific to you, and that's actually one of the reasons why we sometimes will provide customized affirmations for people who request them. They'll pay, and we'll give them customized affirmations. We'll talk with them and figure out their goals, and we'll give them exact sets of customized affirmations, because it's such an empowering part of your toolbox. And that's always been, for the last 5 years, it's been my part of my toolbox is affirmations, some guided meditations. And I know, like, if I feel drained and overwhelmed, I have to go tap into that toolbox. And some of the toolbox is very simple. It's like, just go for a walk, just listen to music and take a long walk away from people, nature, things like that. And I think, of course, everyone has their own toolbox, but there's a lot more similarities in the toolbox than people might think. So exercise, things like that. But like I said, removing the person or the thing from your life that's draining you is going to take care of so much. So does anyone have any questions before we get into the next topic that someone asked about? Just leave it in the chat. someone asked on the post yesterday about basically maintaining an energy connection with people that are physically far from us. So right now we're in this place of isolation and solitude, and you might have someone that you want to maintain an energy connection with. So I'm not too familiar with what the person was asking about an energy connection, but I do believe that we're all in a sort of collective consciousness, and we are definitely attached to certain people in this life, and it might be important sometimes to sort of reach out to them mentally. So one thing I like to do sometimes, it's part of my happiness toolbox, is before I go to bed, like as I'm falling asleep, I'll sometimes say that who I'm thankful for, and I'll just go through a list of people that I interacted with that day or that month, the past year, and I'll just talk, sort of send them energy, send them my gratitude. And I think that's so important to, first, I think people can feel when you're sending them gratitude, like there's a connection there. And the other thing it does is connect you to a sense of gratitude. So it doesn't matter how hard your day was. If you spend 5 minutes as you're falling asleep, and I mean really falling asleep, like I try to get to a point where I'm like about to pass out, and I'll just start going down the list. Thank you, so-and-so. Thank you so much, so-and-so. Thank you so much, so-and-so. And I'll just go through, and oh my God, 11:11. And I'll just go through and thank people. So that's very powerful, I think, for my sake. And I think it helps you sort of do a recap of everyone that's important in your life. And that's always good for maintaining that connection to people, whether you're in person or not. I think there's a sort of mental connection, emotional connection that happens beyond the physical. So unless anyone has any questions right now, I just want to talk about what the sort of topics we're going to talk about this week. We have a filming schedule we're going to do in the coming week. If you have any questions or something you want me to cover, let me know in the chat right here. I know we got disconnected, so this video is going to be the second part of the video. If you think of anything, just let me know, and I'll talk about it. But next week, hopefully next week, we're going to be recording stuff about solitude. And we talked about solitude a little bit here in this video, but I want to go deeper into how important solitude is during this time and how you can really grow from this place of solitude. And I want to help people in a video understand how this time in life could really be one of the most important times. And sure, people are talking about that, and people are saying that this could be the greatest time in your life, but I really believe it. And I think more people should be talking about how they're using this time to build something or create a better life, build themselves, make themselves better. Because for me, I've sort of taken these, like this quarantine right now, this solitude, this lockdown. Jiwa, by the way, I'm from America, but right now I'm in Bangkok. So the situation is maybe going towards a lockdown. I'm not sure. Right now we just have a curfew and everything's shut down. So many times in my life, I've taken time where I've taken a break. Like I've been able to take time off work and just have a few months between jobs. And it's always a time of growth, and it's always a time of discomfort and reflection. And it gives me a time to sort of step back and think about what I really want. And I think that is what people are experiencing right now, and it's uncomfortable for people. So we want to make a video about that. We're also going to make a video about rock bottom. I think a lot of people are afraid of rock bottom right now. Obviously people are really afraid of getting sick and stuff like that. And obviously they don't want their loved ones to die, but we're going to face very significant economic problems coming up. And a lot of people are afraid of just starting over. So they might have lost a ton of money in the stock market. They might have lost a loved one. They might have lost a relationship, might have lost a job, might have lost their routine. You know, maybe this gym's going to shut down and they got to start over from there, build new relationships. And I want to help people understand that rock bottom is, it's just perspective, and you can change how you view rock bottom and look at it as a way of a foundation and not really a negative. So we're going to put a video out next week about rock bottom, starting over, reinvention. And I'm going to put out a meditation as well, a guided meditation about starting over and how to reframe this moment in your life, basically, where you're starting over, you're reinventing yourself. I think that's going to be huge for people right now. A lot of people are going to reinvent themselves in the coming months, sorry, death and rebirth. A lot of people's egos right now are dying. A lot of people's identities are dying in this time. Like, they might have been a bartender, a great bartender, and they just lost their bartending job. And now they got to think, fuck, are we going to even have bartenders in 6 months? Something like that. So people are having this transition, death and rebirth. And I want to help people understand that the rebirth is awesome. It's such a cool time to start over and reinvent yourself. And yeah, so I want to talk a little about the uncertainty, because right now we're really in uncertain times, and then I'm going to show you how to do something to help you visualize for a productive day at the end, because we probably have to get off this live in a few minutes. But the uncertainty that you're facing right now is something that's terrifying for a lot of people. And that's because people just right now in the modern day aren't good at dealing with uncertainty. So before I came on this trip to Thailand, I was really suffering from uncertainty. I was so confused about what was going to happen. So I came to Thailand in the beginning of March, and I came here for an event, a marketing event, to meet some mentors and network with some other business people and other people who had channels and coaches and stuff like that. And everything was going on with the virus, so everything was very uncertain. And before I came to Thailand, I stopped in DC to spend the weekend with my friend. And we went to I can't remember what building it was, but there were all these beautiful paintings of basically the American frontiersmen who were building the country. And these paintings were so detailed, and the paintings they all tell a story. They're not just beautiful pieces of art. They're telling a story about the time and the place. And maybe you had something in the background that's happening in the painting, and it symbolizes this. And another piece here, another person right here, symbolizes something else that was going on in the time. But one of the most resounding topics and themes of every painting about the birth of America, or birth of any country really, is the uncertainty. So you could see in those paintings that these were men and women who knew how to deal with uncertainty, and they didn't know what was going to happen tomorrow, and they just lived in the moment. And I really started trying to embody that, because the modern person can't handle any uncertainty. Like, they don't, like if a flight changes, people flip out, they freak out, and they get so worried, and I don't know what's going to happen with my flight. But people a long time ago, they had to deal with, like, I don't know if the people who own this land are going to kill us, or I don't know where the food's going to come from. So there was a lot of uncertainty incoming to Thailand, and what would happen next. And I have no idea what's going to happen next. We could be on lockdown for 2 months. There could be like a military something. I don't want to get too into that, politics and stuff like that, but anything could happen. I could get the virus tomorrow. Like, there's so much uncertainty, and there's uncertainty for everyone, and everyone's terrified of uncertainty. But what this pandemic has shown is that nothing was ever certain anyway. So nothing's changed. Everything's still uncertain. It's always been this uncertain. Life has always gone, it has never gone like this. So I just want to remind you guys that uncertainty is normal, whether you're starting a business or you're going on this path of growth and you want to change your life and you're not sure how you're going to change. Like, am I ever going to be this person I want to be? It's very uncertain, and you just have to keep going. And that's part of the challenge, I think, is just moving forward when there's uncertainty. And it's not, the uncertainty is the path. It's not an obstacle. Learning to deal with that uncertainty is the path by which you're going to grow. And I think that's something I want to tell everyone right now in this moment, is that we don't know what the fuck's going to happen, and that's okay. Just let go, because you can't control what's going to happen. All you can focus on right now, I think, is taking care of yourself and doing the things you need to do to get through, however that is, and not placing a lot of pressure on yourself. I see this stuff all the time. It's like, use this time right now to become a millionaire. It's like, if you need to just chill for a month, just chill for a month. Like, do what you need to do to get through. Like, don't have any expectations. Like, damn, I didn't become a millionaire during the pandemic. Like, just give yourself a little grace right there. There's nothing I can do now except surrender and let go. Be in solitude for self-mastery and transform during this time of uncertainty. That's awesome. Very cool. So like I said about getting stuff done, like the stuff you need to get done, if you want to focus on that, maybe you just want to sit and meditate for the next month or 2 months. It's crossed my mind. I'm in Thailand right now. If I really want to, I could probably put my stuff in storage or leave it at a friend's house and go live as a Buddhist monk somewhere. So it's crossed my mind, but I really want to build this channel. So if you do need to be productive, I want to give you guys a little preview of a video we're going to, a visualization exercise we're going to put out on the YouTube channel next month, or this month. Yeah. So unless there's any questions right now, I'm going to get into this little how to do this little guided session. And you can return to this video and always watch it if you forget how to do it, or you could just wait a few weeks and we're going to put out the actual guided visualization exercise. So I'll give you a few seconds to ask any questions, and then we'll get into it. Going once, going twice. All right, we're moving in. So right now, a lot of people are struggling with productivity. They're waking up in the morning or the night before, they have these huge visions for the day that they're going to accomplish. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And 24 hours goes by, and they really haven't accomplished what they sought out, what they set out to do. And that can be really toxic for you, because it can sort of build this identity of you keep doing that enough days where you fail to reach your productivity, like the productivity you wanted to reach. You do that enough days in a row, and then you start to build this identity in yourself of someone who doesn't get their stuff done. And then suddenly you start building this identity of a person who's not productive. And so that can be terrible, because you never want to have that sort of attack on your confidence. You never want to belittle yourself like that. Like, I'm not a person who is productive. Like, that's a terrible identity. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. If you start attacking your identities like that, it's gonna mess everything up. So one of the things we want to teach you how to believe in your productive self, and then be able to visualize what it would look like if you were productive. So if you want to do this for yourself, here's what you got to do. I'm going to move the microphone. So before you go to bed, you can lie down or sit down, and you got to relax yourself. So it doesn't matter what happened during the day. You have to relax. Take in your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Exhale. That's the most important thing. The exhale is very important for relaxing your body. It's not only about taking in the air, but measuring how the exhale is done. So once you relax yourself, then you're going to build the confidence of what you accomplished that day. In a relaxed state, I want you to think about everything you accomplished during that day, the past day. So you're sitting in bed at night. Think about what you did that day. No matter how lazy you think you were that day, think about what you did. So imagine all the little things you did. You could have woken up. Some people don't wake up. That's an accomplishment. You could have woken up before noon. Some people sleep till 3 p.m. That's an accomplishment. And you're going to imagine these little accomplishments as poker chips. And you're going to try to accumulate as many poker chips as you can. And each of those poker chips is a little addition to your little confidence bank account. Every time you make a little deposit of the poker chip, you're building up your productivity. Hey, I'm someone who gets shit done. I'm confident. I believe in myself, right? So what did you do today? What did you really do today? Don't worry about what you didn't do. Just focus on every little thing you got done. Did you eat your 3 meals today? That's an accomplishment. Did you do any work whatsoever? That's an accomplishment. So take and imagine these little poker chips going into your bank account, and your stack of chips is growing and growing. Did you go to the gym? Maybe you had a really good day. Maybe you had a pretty good day. Maybe you went to the gym and you did some work on your business. Are you doing this exercise right now? That's a poker chip. So just keep building and building and building those things. Think of everything. Did you say, I love you to someone? Did you call your parents? All of those things, you did something. You should feel proud of being productive. So the next part, we're going to focus on the future. So visualizing the past is a little easier. So Jiwa just said that I feel hard to visualize with my eyes closed. Visualization is hard with eyes closed. Looking back on memories is a little easier, I think. So it's easier to imagine what you did today versus the vision for your future. So to help you understand or help you visualize better, we need to remember that visualization is not, your mind doesn't have eyes. So when you close your eyes and you visualize, try not to make it about seeing. Visualization is not seeing. Visualization of the future is not actually your vision. It's more of a feeling. So you need to feel that vision. So if you have trouble visualizing, here's what you can do during this visualization exercise. After you imagine the poker chips of the day stacking up, you can imagine yourself biting into a lemon. So imagine you cut a lemon, cut it again into a quarter, and you've got this yellow hunk of lemon. Imagine what it would feel like. Don't worry about the color. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about seeing it in your eyes, but close your eyes and imagine what it would be like to bite it. Can you feel that feeling in your mouth and maybe like in your stomach a little bit of what it would feel like to bite a lemon? That's visualization. It's not necessarily I see my hand bite a lemon. It's that feeling of the sourness, the bitterness, the sort of like reaction in your body. And that's what visualization should be like. You're visualizing the emotions, the feelings, and all that. So moving on, the next part of this visualization is for you to imagine your future. So in order to get stuff done tomorrow, you need to think about where your GPS, where your little radar is set. Where are you going? In order to make the next turn, you need to know where you're going. So using these feelings and this visualization through feelings, you need to imagine, take some time, and you can take as much time as you want when you're doing this. Take some time and imagine what life would be like for you in 5 years. Like, who do you want to be in 5 years? So take the time necessary. You don't have to do it right now because I'm trying to just teach you guys how to do it, not necessarily guide you through it. And then the next step would be work your way back. What would a year look like? What would you look like in a year? So started at 5 years. What would a year look like? Who are you in a year? So visualize that using the feelings, using that feeling of the biting the lemon, try to tap into the feeling. What would you look like in 6 months, 1 month, the end of the week, and then tomorrow? So you work your way back all the way to tomorrow. What do you need to get done tomorrow? What would a successful and productive day look like tomorrow in order to reach that 5-year vision? So imagine that day and think about all the actions you would take, and not just think about them, but visualize the feeling of accomplishing them. If you can visualize with your mind and actually see yourself doing it, that's cool too, but feel yourself accomplishing them. And then spend time doing that, however long you want, before bed. And then when you wake up in the morning, it will be easier for you to tap into that because you've already visualized that. You've already felt it. You're already that person. With the exercise, you've built up that set of productivity chips, accomplishment poker chips. So now you're that person who gets shit done. You're just the person who, I do a lot, I'm a person who gets stuff done. I'm pretty productive. And you just keep stacking those up. You do that enough times and you become that person, the person you thought you couldn't be because I'm not productive, but you are. And when you wake up, it becomes easier to do those things. You've already been there. So try to do that. And if you can't remember what I just told you, we're going to put out a video this month about how to do that. It's going to be like 10-minute, 15-minute video. You can follow along. And then maybe eventually it just becomes part of what you do as you fall asleep every day. You just visualize those accomplishments and the poker chips stacking up and the dream, the 5-year dream, and then working your way back. So look for that video. And you can, I don't know what time it is for you. Maybe you're relaxed. Maybe this video relaxed you. Maybe it hyped you up. Maybe you're already sleeping. But we're going to hop off and can't wait to do the next live video, and hope everybody enjoyed themselves. And if there's no more questions, I'm going to hop off and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much for being here, and look for our content coming this month. See you later. The awkward moment trying to end the stream.